I didn't know what the protest was. A friend of mine told me that there was a protest and that Code Pink and an organization called Quit and Global Exchange were participating, and that, would I like to document it? Sure. So I went, didn't even know what it was, met them on 18th near Noe. And then while they were rehearsing singing Christmas carols, I found out that we were going to walk into Cliff's Variety Store on Castro, where they are selling a product made in the illegal settlements, the illegal Israeli settlements. And for instance, it's stamped made in Israel, but European courts have already ruled that illegal because the illegal settlements are illegal. They're not part of Israel, so they're not made in Israel. But they're being sold here, and it says on them made in Israel. And the protesters had previously talked to Cliff's management. They'd also protested at Bed Bath & Beyond, where the same thing is sold. They'd also flyered outside the store, but this time they thought, well, we'll just go in the store and we'll sing a couple of Christmas carols, and they'll probably, call the police, and we'll talk to them, and we have our liaison, and, the usual protest. Well, instead, the protesters got through one song and one song only when they set upon us like a gang. And I mean a gang. This is not hyperbole and this is not exaggeration. The store staff, including management, ran up to us and started screaming, "Get out of the store." They started grabbing and dragging people. This guy snatched the camera out of my hands twice. I snatched it back twice. He cut my hands a little bit when he was doing it. I was literally grabbed by the shirt and dragged and pushed, and elderly women grabbed by their shirts, dragged, pushed, shoved. I saw, if you could walk up here just for a second, please. I saw a store employee walk up to a woman like this and start screaming, "Get out," at the top of his lungs at her. Okay, and I have that on camera. My video is up there, and it's got like 6,500 views now, I think, of it. And it's just amazing that
I want to link to it.
Cliff's is, still saying they did nothing wrong, that it was not assault and battery. Yes, I'm sorry. If you look up the legal definition, it was assault and battery. Now, my hands, I just a couple of little cuts and they're healing.
Can you show?
Sure, but, they're not a big deal. So there's one cut the guy gave me, and
Hold still.
so this one's mostly healed.
Let's see the other one.
And the other one here.
Just let my camera focus in on it.
Sure.
I don't see it yet.
So they're
it's right here by my thumb.
So,
All right, that was how many days ago?
That was the 24th, and this is the 1st. So that was, just over a week ago. And but my real concern is they did this to elderly women. It was mostly elderly women in doing the protest. And to watch an elderly woman have a guy come up and shove her out the door like that, and I swear to God, you just watch the video, it's on there, you can see that. And then for Cliffs to they continue to refuse to apologize. They continue to insist that they assaulted no one, even though it's right there. I've turned over my video footage to the San Francisco Police Department along with my police complaint report. But the police are generally on the side of the Castro merchants, and so I'm going to assume that the police will take no action, even though it's a clear case of assault, multiple counts of assault and battery, and done not just by employees, but managers of the store. And you'll see them.
Other than threatened, were any of the ladies damaged like you were?
I don't know. You'd have to, if you talk to Code Pink and Global Exchange and Quit, which is Queers United, something about Israeli territories, something like that. And so those are the three organizations I knew were involved. Again, I didn't even know which organizations were involved until I got there. I didn't know what the action would be. And so it was really, really very difficult.
May I ask you, I don't want to cut you off, what else were you going to say?
Nothing.
I have a question.
No, that's fine.
Can you say, what do you make of this? What have been your thoughts about this? Just in summary.
Well, they're violent and arrogant people. They're I mean, there are all kinds of ways of handling this without immediately escalating to violence. That's what they did. I mean, as I said, literally started screaming immediately, literally surrounded everyone. They behaved like a gang. And again, this is not hyperbole or exaggeration. It was like they were a gang, a violent gang. And for them to say that what they call trespassing, I don't know if it is or not, but if they call it trespassing, does that legitimize their violence? They seem to think so. And it does not legitimize violence. There's very few things that legitimize violence, especially against the elderly. So I don't know how they can consider themselves reasonable members of the community when they're committing acts of violence.
Why do you think they did this?
The only reason for violence is ignorance, but beyond that, I
mean,
don't.
what was the statement they were trying to make to you? What was upsetting them about you guys being in the store protesting that?
And they were merely singing Christmas carols. They weren't shouting them. They were just singing Christmas carols in kind of a normal singing voice. And
do you think they got some forewarning or something?
It was unfathomable. It was unfathomable. It was just. I have no idea why they would do this. I really don't understand it. It seems simply like madness to me. If they were simply looking out for their own best interests, doesn't seem like a real good way to bond with the community, you know?
Cliffs has had such a great reputation in the community.
Well,
and
you know,
this is strange.
This is the second set of owners that they're operating under, and I'm not sure that the second set of owners is quite as wonderful as the first set, as far as being members of the community.
The thing that caught me about it is that I've never heard of actual employees of an establishment doing this kind of thing. This is a first.
I haven't. I've been, you know, at protests where I've been pushed and shoved, you know, for instance, by police officers, but I've never had an officer, for instance, treat me this badly. Multiple grabs, draggings, and shoves. So, and again, please don't report that it was just employees. It was managers of the store, too. So it was like, you might be able to excuse, well, this is a new employee and he didn't know how to handle it or something. But to have multiple people, including a couple of different managers at least, and I think one of the owners was there, I'm not sure. You could ask the Code Pink people. It's just, the whole community should be outraged. Everybody should be outraged, and Cliffs should be giving very detailed, heartfelt apologies. Not so much to me, you know, I mean, one to me would be nice, but really to the elderly people who were attacked, that's the main thing. I mean, you don't set upon a bunch of elderly women singing a Christmas carol and set upon them like a gang and violently attack them. It's just terrible, you know. So
one mini question after the fact about how many people were there singing, by your estimate? How many there were?
I think less than 10.
Okay. How many employees were setting upon them, in your estimate?
That's harder because, you know, there were just so many and they caused so much chaos immediately when they arrived. But it was like, you know, somewhere 6, 8, something like that.
So pretty even number, employee to singer.
Right, right.
Evenly balanced.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for this.
Sure.
You know, let's let people know about
Okay.
this. I really appreciate your statement.